My name is Louise. I'm the co-founder of Synkora Consulting. Synkora Consulting helps organisations with inclusivity, resilience and creating psychologically safe communities. I started off when I was at university creating a peer support initiative called Breathe Uni, which was bringing together students to talk about mental health, equality, diversity, inclusion and personal development. And through that, I just realised that I was really passionate about just talking to people, having conversations, helping people kind of find themselves and be more positive members of society in their communities. From there, I realised that I wanted to kind of do that for a living, but I didn't know how. I was like, how do I make money from this? So I started off kind of self-employed and I met some amazing people along the way. And I became a youth board member of an amazing youth mental health charity, Beyond. And that's where I met my co-founder, Tanya. And we had so many conversations and we really realised that we had so many, I guess, issues with the mental health system and there's lots of systems in general, workplaces. We just felt like there was more we could do together. We met in 2022. But yeah, I think it was just really, really special to have someone to lean on throughout my journey by myself. But I was always craving someone to work with, someone to go through the journey together, especially because I'm always talking about lived experience and we had that in common in terms of it's really, really difficult. It's really kind of re-traumatizing talking about all the things that led you to do this stuff. So it's really great to have someone who can relate. I grew up in an extremely white town in Buckinghamshire, if anyone knows where that is. And not that I felt isolated, but people made me feel isolated. From primary school, I was kind of bullied for looking different. Even living in the same area, having the same kind of accent, people just see you and they make loads of different judgments. I moved to Ghana, where I'm from, for 2 years, and I came back and all the racist assumptions were just flowing from all the kids around me about, you know, if I was living in a hut, or if I was living with animals, and all these questions that didn't make any sense, considering I was like, again, grew up in the same area as them. Even, you know, not just verbal bullying, but I remember a situation where I was walking home like from a community fair and some girls, this is when I was transitioning into secondary school, and some girls from primary school who hadn't been very nice to me, like just basically started saying really racist things like behind my back, literally behind my back. And I was like, what? And I just kind of kept walking and was trying to ignore it. And so the more I ignored it, the more they like got louder and started following me quicker. And then it got to a situation where we were like near my house and then it kind of got physical. So they started kicking me. I was able to run away, but when I got home, like I didn't actually say anything to anyone, like, and I really definitely forgot that even happened. I don't know how my brain just decided to pretend that that didn't exist until I was like going into university and I was remembering, I think like everything that happened with George Floyd really triggered, I guess, me discovering my own experiences of racism as a young person. And I think, yeah, it came up for me there. I guess like race relations across the world was something people were discussing, and racism in general. And me and my brother actually just basically started a podcast, having conversations about the different experiences of Black people, particularly within the UK, because we felt like all the noise was coming from America. And then I think we just got, you know, lots of people being like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was happening, or yes, I agree because I've had similar experiences. And so I think that like being able to use my voice in that way and finding other people who had shared experiences, but then going into the university community, finding people from all different cultures, religious backgrounds, genders, all of it, all having different experiences, but still struggling with their mental health. I think that's what really made me understand that like we all have different lived experiences, we all have pain, but we can kind of come together and share in that pain and then kind of overcome that. Being a young Black woman trying to be like, hi, global business, pay me to do this work is pretty terrifying. And you don't know like what to charge, how to price things, you don't know how to package things, you don't know exactly who to talk to in order to kind of get your foot in the door. you also understand that like most contracts and projects are based off nepotism and people just like generally liking you as a person, which for me is great because I try and be as personal as possible. I try and be myself, but I think it can be really scary when you don't know like why people are doing what they're doing and, you know, everyone having their different agendas. The first time I ever did a talk in a corporate space, I was like, this is terrifying. This is not like doing this in a school where everyone's like just joking around and blah, 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 blah. Like people in suits just like kind of staring at you. And I think you feel the weight of people's expectations because you're like, no, these people like, I don't know, have everything or something like that. And so you start to make assumptions. But then when you get into it, you just realize at the end of the day, we've all got the same internal battles, external battles that we're struggling with, whether it's, you know, supporting our families, cost of living crisis, health issues, mental health issues. And then I think for me, as long as I'm able to connect to people in a way that, you know, just humanizes them, it's so much easier to kind of do work in those kind of tough spaces. Connection is definitely my biggest superpower personally. It's just something I've realized over the last few years. When I was younger, I was like, I'm not a talented person. I don't have skills. I'm just like your average person. But then I really started to realize that actually connection is a skill. It's what gets me into doors that I'd never think that would be open for me. It's what helps me like do amazing work. It's what helps me have conversations with people that, if I'm honest, like life-changing. So I think, yeah, being able to connect to people, if whatever it is, experience of, I don't know, liking the same TV show or having similar struggles or, I don't know, liking to go on walks, whatever it is, like being able to connect to someone is just really, really like imperative for the work that I do. Like I would not be able to do it if I wasn't able to connect easily with people. And it's just because I'm as open as I can be. Like, I don't care who you are, I will be straight up, I will be honest. Like my friends always say like, oh, Louise, you're kind of brutally honest. You know, like with girls, it's like, oh, you know, if someone says like, how do I this look? You're expected to be like, oh my God, honey, like it looks great. But I'm not like that. If I don't like it, I'll be straight up, like I don't like it. Like, no shade to you, but personally, you've asked me for my opinion, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. My friends like kind of love that and hate that about me. But I think being more bold in that and not caring what other people think, which has been a process because also in a world like mine, like you really have to watch what you say, like particularly in spaces that are really like, you know, like heated politically and people feel really, really attached to certain ideas and opinions. For me, it's funny because when I left uni, I was completely self-employed. So I was like freelancing, just kind of figuring out as I went along. I was living at home, so I was just like, fuck it, I can just do whatever I want and see what happens. My co-founder went straight into corporate consulting and we just like have all these calls where she'd be like, Louise, this is not it. Like, and she'd be like, but what's like life like on the other side? And I'd be like, well, if I'm being honest, like it's great. I'm in charge of my own time, but it's also like you get paid to go and take a break. I can't do that. I don't have rights, like literally zero rights. I think the more you look into how little rights self-employed people do, the more you can just get into like a whole head spin. It is a massive struggle. Particularly last year when I was doing a project on my own, I was kind of doing a project, I had the end client, but there was like the middleman, and that organization went into insolvency, which I didn't know what that was, so I was like, okay. And I lost like the most money I'd ever lost in my life, and I was like in tears for weeks. I was just like, what is this? How is this possible? Like I didn't even know this. And then that made me even like more like, oh my God, I literally have no rights. Like what even is money? Like, is it even mine? How do I get through things like this? But I think actually the more difficult challenges you have like that, the more it equips you for the world of business. I think what's really shifted co-founding Synkora is just like it being an entity outside of me. Yes, I deliver the workshops, deliver the talks, deliver trainings, whatever it is, but like it has its own brand, it has its own thing. that's created not just for me, but for my co-founder as well. And I think what we found is that whenever we're feeling really low about like a challenge we've had, you know, a pitch that's gone wrong, a rejection that's happened, we don't feel defeated because we're like, if anything, if I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing it for you. Like having someone else to be like, no, you need to get back up. You need to like kind of brush it off and continue because you've got someone else to think about in this situation. And I'm sure that will come even more, you know, when we get bigger and we start, I don't know, hiring freelancers and whatever it is. I think what's unique about Synkora right now is that we're youth-led, we're Gen Z-led, and that's not something you see often with training consultancies. So I think the vision is to make our stamp in this space and to be able to shape a society that we want to live in, to be able to shape a society that the next generation after us want to live in as well. So I think being able to tap into our network, tap into the communities that we're starting to get into now, and to be able to say, we're going to have to shake things up, and the world is moving at a really, really fast pace, but we're going to be the ones to be able to help the younger generations to make their mark and kind of make that change stay. I love doing work with adults, but I think my main passion is doing work, especially with young people, and incorporating the work that I do with young people into those spaces as well. If you're part of a community, which I'm sure you are, whether you're a young person listening to this and you go to a school, like, hook me up. Whether you work for a corporate organisation and you think you need some support in making more inclusive communities, you need some support, maybe you're a younger person and you want some support in how to, you know, be more bold in your workplace, whatever that is, whatever community you're in where you feel like you might need some support in making a change, just let me know and I think I can help. The biggest social media platform that you'll see me often on, and I actually have a strategy for, is LinkedIn. So please connect me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Louise Appiah. I am really, really vocal on that platform, and I love the way you can connect. Comment on my post, like my post, DM me, like, let's have a conversation. But I'm also on Instagram, of course, as well. My handle is louiselyons_, so you can find me there. I also have like a few YouTube things as well, but I feel like I'm not going to plug that quite just yet.